Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us tonight. We have Tessa Kohler with us this evening, and she is from Saje Wellness and has been there for 5.5 years after studying molecular biology and botany. With her love for the power of plants, her own experience with physical ailments and mental health, this has led her to explore the natural healing that comes from our oldest of medicines, plants. As our Southwestern Ontario product expert, Tessa is passionate about sharing her knowledge in digestible and relatable ways to make the journey to feel better and less complicated. So welcome, Tessa. Thank you for joining us this evening.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much for reaching out and having me. I'm thrilled to get to be here and share a little bit about what's helped me in my journey, and hopefully something that could help one of you, even just a little bit, in your journey as well. So as Lex mentioned, my name is Tessa. I work at our Conestoga Mall location out of Waterloo. And for me, Saje has helped both my mental, my physical, and honestly, my emotional health. So it's somewhere that I'm very passionate about, and somewhere that has been around for about 31 years, helping people feel better naturally. We started out of BC in 1992. And what actually started our whole company was a gentleman, his name is Jean-Pierre, who is our co-founder, but he was actually in a car accident, which resulted in a concussion. And he actually had about a 7-year pain and recovery journey, was on different pharmaceuticals, was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, but something just didn't resonate for him. And through his education background in chemistry, he started creating the peppermint halo for himself to help with his neck and muscle tension, his inflammation, and stiffness from some of the leftover pain from his car accident. So it's been remarkable seeing 31 years later that his own personal need has created for us a company that has over 75 different stores in both Canada and America. So excited to get to keep sharing that wellness and hopefully help someone here today. Our peppermint halo is definitely one of our #1 remedies, and we will be diving into that one today. But it was created and blended to help with the symptoms from headaches, like neck and muscle tension. All of our products that we'll be talking about today are registered with Health Canada and do have NPN numbers. So they are products that are backed by science, but they are also products that help treat our symptoms. They are not things that help cure or cause the root cause of anything to disappear. So everything we'll be talking about today are things that could potentially help. And we do have a great satisfaction guarantee if you ever want to take a risk on something. If you don't love it and it doesn't work for you, you're not stuck with it ever. So everything today is educational, and you can take with it what you'd like. But if you do fall in love with a Saje product, it's yours. But if you don't love it, you're never stuck with it. So that's something that I really love, because I was sharing with Lex earlier, when you have dealt with pain or pain journey. I broke my back when I was little. So I was on pain meds. I was in a wheelchair for almost 6 months. And it gets to the point where you're willing to try anything. So I was always very grateful that when I did want to take a risk and try something that I wasn't used to, that if I didn't love it, I wasn't stuck with it. So that's something that I always really love to share too. Everything we do at Saje is 100% natural. That is why we have our lovely Health Canada registration, that NPN number, which means it's a 100% natural alternative to over-the-counter remedies. So something like our peppermint halo would be comparable to an over-the-counter remedy for headaches, like a Tylenol or an Advil. So as much as those kinds of things can work for most people, what we'll be talking about today is for the 90%. So all of this is talking about what we could help treat for us today. And aromatherapy is beautiful in that it could potentially help treat so many different things. It's been known to help with energy levels, physical pain, digestive issues, sleep, mood balancing, mental well-being, so much more. Just good smell. Having a beautiful environment can make you feel so good on the inside. So what we'll be talking about today has lots of different applications and benefits for us. So specifically though, why we're here today is so that we can help talk about how what we have may help elevate your wellness and your recovery journey through our intentionally curated aromatherapy products and blends that can be used both topically or through inhalation. Recovery is unfortunately a long process, as I know everyone here can relate to and understand. So here at Saje, our philosophy is we try to help you feel better on your journey to wellness, whether that's feeling 50%, feeling 100%, or taking a pain from an unmanageable 8 down to a manageable 2 or 3. That's for me what these products have been able to do. So hopefully something somewhere along here sparks something for us today. Essential oils themselves, getting into the actual base of our products, are really cool. They were the life force of the plant. So they're what kept the plant from having fungal growth or from bacteria getting into the plant. So because of that, essential oils based by Health Canada studies have been shown to be antiviral and antibacterial, but also have lots of other active benefits to them. Something like menthol from peppermint is used in gum, toothpaste, mouthwash. Methyl salicylate from wintergreen is what they use and put in A535. So it's really amazing what these active components of these plants can do for us when they're harvested. Essential oils are typically harvested through steam distillation or cold expression, which just means squeezing it really hard until the stuff comes out. That's typically how citruses are extracted because the rind is so thick. And then your more bushy plants or your trees are typically steam distilled. So essentially the plant matter is all put together, and then the steam gets pushed in and it goes through a really coily tube, and it comes out and separates as oil and water. And then you get to harvest that 100% pure, unadulterated essential oil that's not extracted with anything like alcohols or esters that affect the benefit and the natural components to the plants. So here at Saje, we are very passionate about efficacy and the quality of our oils. So everything here is 100% sustainably traced. So that's something I'm also really passionate about, knowing that we take our beautiful products from the earth. I really love and value that they're very cautious and attentive about how much we're taking and from what companies we're using products, so that we're making sure that we're getting the best quality for all of you guys, but also making sure that we're respecting the earth that we are taking all of that from. The essential oils themselves are also very volatile, which kind of sounds like a scary word, but it just means that they're super concentrated and that they evaporate quickly. So essential oils, the two ways we use them, that inhalation and topical application, this is where it can kind of differ on if you want that quick absorption or evaporation, or if you want it to stay on the skin and last longer and use something like a carrier oil, which we'll get into in a second here as well. So those two main ways that we are using our essential oils. The inhalation is what I think a lot of people are familiar with, especially when it comes to things like the diffusers, where you have the physical mist coming out as well, or humidifiers. Cool mist humidifiers are just really big diffusers as well. And then the inhalation works through the open nerve endings in your nose. So when you inhale your favorite food and your mouth starts to water, it's because of those open nerve endings in the nose stimulating that metabolic response, which is really cool. And that's the same pathway that essential oils work on through inhalation. So when that scent molecule attaches on, it either stimulates something in the parasympathetic nervous system or the limbic nervous system. And that's how you get those responses that can help with things like your energy, your digestive issues, focus, mental clarity, helping possibly improve the quality of your sleep. It's really neat. Those nervous system reactions can stimulate like reducing the symptoms of stress. So like the racing heartbeat, kind of the nervous jitters. It can be shown to help regulate mood by reducing racing thoughts. Clary sage is a really cool oil. It's been proven and shown by Health Canada to reduce racing thought patterns by reducing cortisol. So I love stress release. That's one of my favorites. And it can also help to regulate and encourage deeper breathing through things like eucalyptus, which a lot of people may or may not be familiar with from like Vicks Vapor Rub. That really clarifying feeling comes from the combination of menthol from peppermint and the eucalyptus as well. The diffuser that I showed and mentioned is definitely one of the most popular ways for inhalation, but you can also do inhalation by simply taking a nice deep breath of your favorite essential oils. So whether that's like a roller remedy, hold on, let me do my influencer showing here. The roller remedies are a really great way to take your oils on the go. They are traditionally what you'd be used for topical application, but you are also able to put either a bit of a roll in your hand, or if you're more familiar with a dropper bottle like this, you can drop a few bits on your hand and take some nice deep breaths, getting it into the airways, focusing on the breath, really taking that moment for yourself, but also inhaling those oils and allowing the benefits and your body to work its best with those oils that you're giving it. That does lead us into that topical application, which for me is my most frequent, especially I'm on the go all the time. And for physical pain, your inhalation is not as particularly effective. So you want to get those products on the body. And that's what those topical remedies allow you to do. So the topical application is where you do want to mix it with something called a carrier oil. So a carrier oil would be those thicker oils that don't have active properties, like coconut oil, avocado oil, jojoba, oils that you would not necessarily diffuse. They don't diminish any of the benefits of your essential oils, but what they allow those oils to do is to sit on the skin and absorb into our largest organ instead of evaporating into the air. So like when you put your muscle creams on, when people put perfume on their skin, the laundry detergent from our clothes, all of that gets absorbed into our skin, being that largest organ. So that's how that topical application works. Once it gets into the bloodstream, the nerve endings, and the muscle groups, essential oils, just like different ways how medication work in your body is very intuitive and knows where that components need to go, especially too with topical application. Often you're applying on the site of discomfort, but it is really amazing how they can get in there. And that full absorption is required for a carrier oil. Essential oils being volatile and so concentrated as well can be reactive. So that carrier oil is also ensuring that you're reducing the chance that a sensitive reaction may occur on your skin as well. So it's both extending the benefit of your oil and allowing you to absorb more of it, but also making sure that you're not going to give yourself any irritation. If anyone's ever used like Tiger Balm or A535 and maybe you use a little too much and your skin's a little red, that's something that could happen if you use a pure essential oil without diluting it in a carrier oil. However, here at Sage, all of our topical remedies are diluted for easy use so that you would be able to not have to play Potion Master if you didn't want to, and you could just enjoy your product kind of on the go as well. Our skin being its largest organ, that is why we do choose 100% natural. We want to remove as many toxins from our environment as possible, especially with anything to do with the brain. Often certain things can be irritating, especially those toxic triggers. For me, I can't walk down the laundry detergent aisle in a grocery store without getting an immediate headache. And that's without having anything existing in my current day-to-day. So that natural factor doesn't entirely eliminate sensitivities. There are, of course, people who are scent sensitive, whether it's natural or synthetic. However, roughly 94% of people can tolerate natural scents versus synthetic smells. So that's where it's important and passionate for us to be able to hopefully have products that appeal to the majority of those who want to use them. So at Sage, 20 of our roller remedies are registered with Health Canada as those 100% natural medicinal alternatives to over-the-counter remedies. An example of that too would be something like Fisherman's Friends would be a natural alternative to Halls. So things that are in our day-to-day life we might be already familiar with can definitely be natural products too. But I have chosen and curated kind of 4 main remedies that for me and people in my life who have had TBIs and who have gone through some of this, that have really had some benefits that our company and some studies that have been done by third parties have shown have also helped with certain symptoms. So these products I really hope resonate somewhere with you guys so that they can help provide relief for you. So the first one I have already started talking about is going to be our peppermint halo. So like I said, that's our flagship remedy. It is what started our entire company. And it was created out of that root need to help with neck and muscle tension, inflammation, blood flow, headaches, wakefulness, things like that. So this product was created by someone going through a traumatic brain injury as well, and the recovery from that. It is a blend of 6 different oils, but the main 4 that are in here are your peppermint, eucalyptus, lavender, and rosemary. So the peppermint and eucalyptus work by helping to increase blood flow by slightly tightening the blood vessels, which brings more oxygen to the site of application, and more oxygen helps reduce inflammation. So that's how the peppermint and the eucalyptus work physically within the body. The lavender is cool in 2 different ways. So in one way, it does help calm and soothe the physical nervous system to help reduce physical tension. But lavender is also an adaptogen, which means it helps other oils work better or more symbiotically together. So we've also included it in this product, and honestly, a lot of products, because it does help other oils do their job better as well. Not sage related, but other adaptogens would be things like L-theanine, ashwagandha, holy basil, a lot of different plant-based things that you may or may not be familiar with if you are already using more natural products as well. The peppermint halo is typically applied to help with headaches. I myself actually get migraines, and I find for me that this can help reduce a migraine to the point where you can like fall asleep and deal with it. And it's allowed me to stop using as many of my prescription migraine medications. I definitely still have them because medicines have 100% place in the world, and you need those sometimes too. But I do like being able to use this to support my liver and my kidneys when I can. But you would typically apply this all along the hairline. You do want to stick closer to the hairline than the eyeballs. Mint on your temples is lovely. Mint in your eyeballs is not as lovely. So all along the halo. And then my favorite place to put it, especially knowing that a lot of the times when we have neck and head injuries, the neck is involved, is right along the trap muscles. It's really great. Those trap muscles support our neck all along the back of the neck too. This product really can be applied wherever you would like pain relieving benefits. My dad loves to use it on his knees for his arthritis. Since arthritis is an inflammatory disease, he finds that it provides some relief, as well as even just a distraction, the tingle and cooling that comes with it is a really great feeling as well. I also like to use it on my lower back. My back still has a lot of issues, and inflammation is definitely one of them. It's also good before any kind of movement. After a day on a computer and a desk where your shoulders feel like they're up to your ears, really just helps to relax those shoulders, open up the chest, kind of allow a little bit of that physical tension to be breathed out of the body as well. This is our top selling remedy every year. It is one that every person who comes in, like somebody at my work put this on my neck. It's very sensory, and it's really a beautiful one just to kind of feel, it always makes me feel a little more awake, a little less sluggish, not necessarily because that's a physical benefit of it, but it's just a really invigorating smell in and of itself. And I find it kind of gives me a little pep in my step as well. Again, this is the remedy that our co-founder did create for himself from his car accident to help with his concussion and neck and tension recovery. So this is one that very much hits close to home for those of us today, and one that really got my mom through a concussion that she had 3 years ago. It was one that allowed her to loosely function instead of be like on the couch and not functioning. But I do use the word loosely. It was definitely an improvement, but not 100%. But it's one of my favorite remedies. It is on my body at all times. Our next remedy is definitely like on the other end of the spectrum. It's called Sleep Well. Our Sleep Well remedy was blended to help with the quality and duration of your REM sleep, which is that really restful sleep that helps with muscle recovery, memory retention. Your immune system is working overtime during REM sleep. That's also when we dream. So if you never remember your dreams, it might mean you're not having a lot of REM sleep. If you had a lot of dreams one night, it probably means you had a good sleep. So that's kind of fun. But when it comes to our brain and recovering, knowing that even though our body, when we're sleeping, it feels like things are turned off, that's when the construction workers are out most and they're doing all the work. So the more sleep and the better quality of sleep you can give your body and your brain, the easier potentially recovery can be as well. It has some beautiful oils in it, but some of the main powerhouses are valerian root, lavender, chamomile, and vetiver. Valerian root is really neat. It smells like an earthy version of lavender, but valerian is actually what they use to derive Valium from. So it's kind of nature's knockout. It is not Valium, don't get me wrong, but it is what derived into Valium, which is very cool. But due to its benefits for helping to increase the duration and frequency of REM sleep based on third-party studies that were verified by Health Canada, this is the powerhouse ingredient. We can't diffuse this remedy in our store because it's so potent. Smelling it sometimes even makes me sleepy. It is remarkable what valerian root has the potential to do for us. It's when our body is really able to support ourselves best is when you're in that REM. And those who don't get enough, it can affect a lot of your cognitive functions. Those, especially, I don't know if anyone has ever been athletes in the past. I'm not an athlete, but sleep is something like muscle. You can hurt yourself more likely if you're not sleeping properly. A CAMH study showed that people who don't get enough proper sleep are 60 to 85% more likely to suffer or deal with moderate to severe mental health. So sleep is definitely something that we love to support, especially when we're already dealing with something within the brain that's maybe not being supported as well as it could. So because of that, we also blended in that lavender and chamomile. Both of those ingredients are beautiful and soothing, very much associated with sleep. They are the opposite of peppermint, where when applied, they actually gently open up the blood vessels, not in a like dangerous amount, but it allows the body to slow down the heart rate. So when we get anxious, we maybe have that racing heart. When we fall asleep, naturally our heart rate decreases as well. So these two ingredients help calm the physical body, but chamomile is also beautiful and soothing to help with the mind. And it adds a sweetness, which kind of balances out the earthiness of the valerian root in here. Orange is also included in the Sleep Well. And orange is actually a really cool citrus. I think a lot of us, myself included for a long time, think of citruses as invigorating and uplifting and energizing. But orange is actually like a big old nurturing teddy bear. It just wants you to be your best. So if you're feeling a little meh, it's known to help kind of uplift. But if you're feeling a little jittery, kind of just brings you back down. So it's something that's really meant to help just bring you to a neutral space. So it's included in a lot of our sleep products, both to help freshen up the floralness of a lot of the other sleep ingredients, but also because of its known mood balancing benefits and to help you kind of get out of your head a little bit and into your body. Our Sleep Well can be used for falling asleep and staying asleep. REM sleep happens throughout your whole evening, but this remedy is also really good if you're someone who wakes up a lot between 1 and 3 o'clock and you have a hard time falling back asleep. That's typically when our circadian rhythm naturally wakes us up to go to the bathroom, or check our surroundings from back when we didn't have roofs over our heads. And so it can be hard to fall back asleep after that, especially if you are dealing with headaches or pain, things that can keep us up. So if you need help with the first half of your sleep or falling asleep, you would apply the sleep well on the wrists where the thinnest skin on the body is, so it gets into the bloodstream the quickest, as well as the back of the ears. That's where we apply perfumes. And the reason for that being is all perfumes used to actually be health tinctures. That's how they were first created. So you wanted to get them into the bloodstream to have the benefit the quickest. And then you can also use it on the bottom of your feet, believe it or not, to help keep you asleep. Whatever we put on our feet, so reflexology, the nervous system, all of our nerve endings end in our hands and our feet. So that's how touch works. When you touch something, the nerves send it back up to the brain. So all those nerve endings in your feet work their way back to the spinal cord. And whatever you put on your feet takes about 3 to 4 hours to do that. So it's kind of like a time delay or a time bomb. So whatever you put on at bedtime when you're tucking yourself in, your wrists and your ears set you up for your first 3 to 4 hours. And then if you put it on your feet, that'll set you up for your second 3 to 4 hours. Or the second half of your sleep as well. So this product for me has significantly improved the quality of my sleep. I have dealt with insomnia since I was about 14, and sleep well, believe it or not, has worked better for me personally than almost any medication I had been on. Not necessarily because, again, medications are not super valid, but I was on a lot of medications because of my physical pain. And so my body didn't always let me actually use the medications that I was supposed to be able to use in the right way. So when I found this roll-on I could put on my skin and it let me sleep better than anything in my life, I was very thrilled. And it is our second best-selling product in our whole store. It is one that people come back for. It is one that people share with their loved ones. I always say it's our second bestseller, but maybe not our best smeller. And I think that it speaks for itself that people are willing to use it, even though maybe it has more of an earthy or lavendery smell to it as well. To support you throughout your day after your good night's sleep, we have a remedy called Energy. I really love to use our Energy to support my wakefulness and alertness throughout the day. It's a revitalizing remedy meant to kind of boost mental awareness, mental clarity, kind of give you a little bit extra tools to let what energy you do have be utilized. It has basil, peppermint, lemon, and bergamot, which is another lovely citrus used to scent Earl Grey tea, actually. And it reminds me of gardening because the basil is very herbaceous. It's used to help stimulate the mind, to clarify a tired brain. It does not remove brain fog in the sense that it gets rid of everything, but it is kind of meant to help clear a bit of what could be clogging the brain, whether it's from not a good night's sleep, maybe our body's just not feeling 100% that day. But basil is known to help with that kind of fog that can cloud the brain sometimes as well. Lemon is included in there because it's known to uplift and energize, so providing that extra pep in your step. Lemon is also really great in the sense, like for me, the verified science aside, like lemon just makes me feel good. It's fresh, it's clean. I think it's one that really is a brightening oil. So I love that it's in here because it just makes me feel good as well. There is peppermint in here, as well as that physical tingle that you get from it if you apply it on the neck and the shoulders as well. It is known to improve and promote mental function, as well as stimulate and awaken a tired mind due to its menthol content as well. And then bergamot is a really cool citrus again, similar to orange. It's not necessarily always invigorating, but it helps to interrupt the cycle of stress and help to restore mental function and improve the capacity to focus. Health Canada actually did a study on bergamot, and that was one of the results they found from it. So that was a new claim that we were able to add within the last few years. And I love bergamot. Whenever I diffuse it, I feel like I'm in an English tea house. So it's also nice to know that it's helping with my focus as well. And then last but not least, for our remedies, I do have one. It's called Quick Study. This one was actually created to help with mental alertness and focus. Back in 1997, our co-founder, his daughter's teacher, actually asked him if he could make something, because a lot of the kids were being prescribed different medication for focus disorders, and she wanted something that maybe they could use in the classroom that wasn't just that if they weren't using it or as a bonus. So our Quick Study has actually been with us and registered with us as a 100% natural alternative to over-the-counter focus remedies, nothing prescriptive by any capacity. But as someone who does have ADHD, I love the Quick Study. I use it probably more in a day than I should. Not that there's actually a limit on how much you can use these products. But I find it really helps me at work focus, but also like during the day, maybe on a day off when I just want to lay on the couch and I should do the dishes. Quick Study is definitely a good one. But it is also good to help with that focus in terms of if we're looking at a screen, if we're just trying to accomplish doing the laundry. Sometimes focus is not a huge task, and it can be lost on very small tasks as well, especially when our brain isn't functioning at 100%. So this has lemon in it, myrtle, which is a really cool oil, part of the tea tree family, orange, and cedarwood. So we use the lemon in here again to help with that mental clarity, but it also has been shown to help brighten and boost the energy and help you feel more uplifted. The orange is, again, that kind of sedative or that bringing you down. So if we're feeling a little up here when we're not focused, it kind of brings us back down. And cedarwood has been shown in multiple studies to help significantly improve learning capacity and focus, which is actually, I think, really cool. And something I've actually included into a lot of my other blends. I just add more cedarwood in sometimes. And then myrtle refreshes a tired mind and can help calm in times of stress and anxiety. So the Quick Study is kind of like if energy and a de-stress one made a baby and then gave you a little bit of focus. This one, similar to the energy, would be applied along the wrists, behind the ears. You can do it on the chest so that you're inhaling it. And you can also take those nice deep breaths with it as well. The inhalation I forgot to mention earlier is going to be your quickest acting. So if you're in a moment of panic, or if you need immediate relief, or if you're congested and want to clear out your sinuses, that's where doing a nice sage breath can really help. And then your topical application takes about 20 minutes to take effect, but you typically get benefit for about 2 to 4 hours based on what remedy you're using. And then your feet, again, can kind of be that time delay where it takes a few hours to set in, but then you also get a 2 to 4 hour period of benefit as well. Last but not least on my list is not a remedy, but he is the king of all oils. Frankincense is fabulous. And if it's an alliteration, it must be true, in my not so humble opinion. Frankincense is the only oil and one of the only things in nature that can actually pass our blood-brain barrier. And so because of that, it has a lot of really remarkable properties within the brain. And one I could go on and on about. I did a lot of research with it in my education background because it was so near and dear to my heart. But it was actually used at Johns Hopkins, Harvard, and Yale for different researches and studies. So that's where a lot of the claims I'll be talking about today come from. And there are also some from CAMH and some Canadian sides as well. But frankincense is very neat. I actually see people come in with like a prescription for frankincense sometimes from their doctors. So this one is one that's starting to break certain barriers because of how much potential it has. So frankincense is known for its regenerative properties and its ability to help repair small pieces of damage by bringing more oxygen to the site where damaged blood vessels can't do that for the brain tissue. So it's not something that necessarily repairs existing damage, but what it can do, because it can pass through the blood-brain barrier, is it brings oxygen with it, just like the blood-brain barrier does. The blood brings oxygen to the brain, and then the oxygen from the blood is brought into the brain itself. And the frankincense does that, So it can bring it to the site where there's damaged blood vessels that maybe that brain tissue hasn't died or it's not fully damaged, but if it doesn't get more oxygen, it's not necessarily going to get better quicker. So frankincense was shown to help improve recovery time anywhere from 12 to 25%. It was also used for MS and cancer research and had really cool results, but that is not necessarily what we are talking about today. But it does bring to the site, it's this is a word I have a hard time pronouncing, but the benefit itself is the sesquiterpenes. That's the actual physical part within the frankincense that allows the oxygen to pass through the blood-brain barrier with it as well. It's also a well-known anti-inflammatory and can help reduce minor swelling and inflammation. So it's great for like sore muscles on the body. So again, even great on a tense neck or shoulder, but it can also help with inflammation from within once you put it on that topical application and it gets within the body as well. The best way to gain the benefits from frankincense would be through either your inhalation to help with the focus and mental clarity side, but truly your best way to use it is that topical application, blending it with a carrier oil and actually applying it right on the brainstem. So the brainstem is kind of right where your hair meets your neck, but that would be the quickest transit spot to get it right where you want it so that it can get into the brain the quickest for you through that absorption. You could also put it on the back of your ears and your wrists, but it will take a little longer to get where you want it to that way. But frankincense for me is the one that anytime someone comes in and they're sharing about anything to do with a brain injury, it's also great for hormone, mood, and focus disorders, which I have all three. So for me, frankincense is something I use daily and has significantly improved the quality of me being able to manage a lot of the symptoms to a lot of things that I personally deal with. And again, for my mom who did go through her concussion, frankincense and the peppermint halo were her two non-negotiables that she used to help get through a day versus just be on the couch all day. And sometimes she still had to do that too. Recovery is not prescriptive and it definitely looks different for everybody. And all these products today and how I've talked about them, some have been my journey, some has been like verified scientific studies, but it's still not 100% for everybody. So what we have does have the potential to be, like for me, life-changing and hopefully beneficial for somebody somewhere as well. But none of our products have guarantees, which is why we have that beautiful satisfaction guarantee if and when you do ever wish to try out any Saje goodies. And that goes for every single store, anywhere you go. You can ask a lot of our team. I don't know if you are all somewhat local to KW, but if you're not, we do have over 20 different stores in Ontario, and everyone on our team are all trained to be able to help you with your personal wellness needs. Whether you go in and you don't let anyone know you're coming, you can call and make sure if you really want some one-on-one attention. We do have people who are able to do like wellness appointments as well. So we really do want to help you on your journey to feeling better. For me, again, like I mentioned, natural wellness has changed my life. And that's like my driving passion, is why I love sharing this stuff, is like, if I can make someone feel like 1% better or be able to manage something just a little bit, I feel like I've done my job. So hopefully through what we've learned about today, there's at least one little bit that resonates, even if it was just a fun piece of info that you learned. But that was what I had prepared to share with everyone today. So I don't know if there were questions, or Lex, if you had anything in the comment section, but I would love to be able to field anything for anyone if they had any personal inquiries or anything like that as well.
Well, that's fantastic. Thank you so much, Tessa, for sharing all of your knowledge and the love of plants and how some of the properties they can contain can produce some effects for some people. So that's great. And yes, we'll just stop here and we'll open the floor to any questions and discussion.